welcome back to Media Talk. Again, please come down to the Brewing Company. Find out what South Tampa young leaders and executives is all about. Please be a part of this. Please come to Media Mix. There's food, there's drinks, there's me, there's Jim Kopcik here. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you, thank you.
We also have on the phone Mitch Silver. Mitch, thank you very much for calling in.
Glad to do it.
How are you doing?
You know, I'm very well. A little tired from a long weekend of selling cars, but getting better.
I was just going to say, you weren't doing anything all weekend. How could you be tired?
Well, I put in about 48 hours of auctioning time. My voice still sounds like it too, and I don't auction the whole time. I've got about 6 auctioneers on staff, but I'm on that stage almost the whole time.
Mitch, can you tell our viewers exactly, if they don't know and they live under a rock, what exactly is Silver Auction?
Well, we're a collector car auction company, and we're based out of Spokane, Washington, but we travel all over western United States, and we do about 19 auctions a year. Our biggest one is Hot August Nights. That was last weekend, and we had just under 900 collector cars for sale at public auction. Each car goes on the block, and we sell it to the crowd.
And how many people come? How many, I mean, you might have said this, how many cars are there? How many people come to the event? It's an all weekend long thing. Can you give us the 411 of just what the weekend is like?
Sure. Hot August Nights is bigger than just my auction. My auction is one major portion of it, but Hot August Nights itself takes over the entire cities of Reno and Sparks and some of the surrounding cities as well. It's a huge event attracting, I think, 15,000 cars, and the people volume, it's almost a 10-day event. The people volume is up around 800,000 over the course of the entire 10 days. In our venue, we're in the Reno Sparks Convention Center, which is a huge facility. We'll have just under 900 cars, and we run about 15,000 people a day into that show participating in the auction.
Now, our own Jim Kopcik was there spending some time with you this weekend, twiddling his thumbs, looking for something to do. But the reason why Jim was there is because this was also the auction part of it, and jump in anytime you want, is a 2-hour live show on ESPN Classic, correct?
That's correct, and it was our first time for us, and taking a show live, and it was exciting, it was fun, and of course I only saw it from the other side of the screen, so it sure felt good from my end.
So then you obviously didn't see the chaos or any of the cables being plugged in, or weren't involved in that part of it like Jim was. Jim's actually here with us.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Mitch?
I'm good.
We had a great show. We last year with On the Block, we did a 6-show series for ESPN. And what we did is we went behind the scenes and we followed the restoration of 2 cars, and we took them to Silver Auctions. ESPN loved the reality show portion of it, but when it came to those last 2 episodes and they saw the excitement of an auction, I mean, that's what really got ESPN involved and said, look, let's do this next year. Let's try to go do it live. So that's how we got involved live, and they're looking forward to doing more. So,
Mitch, I want to ask you how you felt about your Silver Auctions going live, but Jim, I mean, since you've been involved in it for so long, in doing this in previous years, how was the atmosphere behind the scenes for going? Actually, you can't make mistakes, and if you do, it's just kind of. I mean, how was that as opposed to
when you're in that production truck? It's like you're in the belly of the beast. You have no control of what's going on in there, and at any time something can happen, and you just have to just change your direction and just keep on going with it. We dodged a few bullets, but the show went on, and it just went flawless.
Phenomenal. How many households is ESPN Classic in?
Oof.
Millions.
Millions.
So over millions.
Yeah.
Mitch, how was this for you? As you said, this was the first time it was live for you. How did you feel?
Well, it's interesting because we needed to do the start at that point in the show because we've been selling cars prior to it going live on ESPN, and so we needed to sort of be prepared for a start. But once that happened, really, we just keep doing what we're doing, and the camera people are real professionals about not getting, tripping people up or being where they shouldn't be. We go at an incredibly fast pace anyway, and they would notify me. They'd hold up a little sticker that would say when they're in commercial, and so and the only reason that we did that, because we didn't even need to know that, is we would try to recap when we came out of a commercial. So because we may have switched cars when we went into a commercial, when they came out, they may be seeing a car for the first time.
We'll just show you the volume of cars that came through there. In pre-production, I produced that 21 cars would go across the block in that 2-hour period, and I think there was an estimate of 40 cars actually went across the block.
That actually went across?
Yeah, during that time period.
You know, before we wrap up, thinking about this year, and it's going to be live again next year, that so far, are there things, Mitch, on your end or Jim on your end, that you want to do differently? Perhaps if there's a story that you want to tell, a car, I don't know, I didn't live and breathe it.
It's finding those stories. Every buyer has a story behind them why they're purchasing these cars. You know, either it was a car when they were a kid, or it's something their parents had. You know, each story, and just finding those stories really pulls the whole show together.
And Mitch, if you're there for the 10 full days before this even starts, you can be there and you can find those stories, or you know it more than anybody else does because you live and breathe cars.
Well, we certainly can from the seller's perspective. Of course, the buyers identify themselves during the heart of the auctioning. It's an unusual buyer that would come up to me ahead of time and say, I've got my sights set on that car. I'm the guy that's looking for the buyer, but I'm looking across those 10, 15,000 people to see who's going to step up and be there at the very end. So sometimes that actual buyer really isn't identified literally till we're just about to say the sold word.
Maybe I shouldn't ask this question. I'm going to anyways. Mitch, how much total dollars were spent in the auction as far as people buying cars?
Oh, it's public information on this. We were just under $15 million in sales for the weekend.
Wow.
So that's a lot of cars in this economy.
We did see the one grandfather wanting to buy a car for his grandchildren
yes.
and spent $40,000 more than he wanted to.
You know, the thing about buying at an auction is it is a public purchase, and there's a little ego involved. There may be a lot of ego involved. It's pretty fun to hold up your hand in front of a room full of people and other people who are professionals and say, I want to get this car. And what's interesting is for him to be at that level, there had to be somebody else $500 or $1,000 away also trying to buy that car.
Sure. It was a great watch. I mean, I'm impressed that it went off without a hitch. It looked effortless. So hats off to everybody who did it. Mitch, before we go, what's your next thing that you're doing?
We're going to be up in Sun Valley, Idaho on Labor Day weekend. We've been there. This will be our 20th year of doing that sale, and it's one of our favorites. Great restaurants and a nice setting. We love it.
Well, good. Congratulations, Mitch. We look forward to working with you some more. Jim, is there anything you want to add?
No, we're looking forward to doing more auctions, and hopefully we can do this again next year.
Maybe Mitch can get you a car next year,
yeah,
huh?
that'll work.
Thanks for calling in, Mitch. Thanks for calling in, Mitch.
Bye-bye.
Jim, thank you for hanging out with us while I talk to Mitch. I'm going to take my next break. As soon as I come back, we're going to be chatting with Robin Adkins-Vossler. So we'll see you right back here in about 60 seconds.